Welcome back to Time Out with GC right here on Channel 263. In studio with me is still Greg Craig, the same initials as me, and then Emil Craig joins us on the show. He's our guest, so you've been on the show before. Emil Craig, welcome back to the show, or welcome to the show.
Thanks, Christian. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Now, Emil's story is remarkable. When I heard his story, my heart immediately, it melted, because I could not fathom anywhere in my life being a heroin addict for 15 years. You're 37 years right now, and I know you speak to many people, you motivate them, but sitting right now with me in studio, and when you say that, or you paint that picture of being a heroin addict, people say, no man, they don't look like him.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I think I had that idea as well, sort of the first time I started doing drugs, you know. For me, a drug addict looked like someone that was passed out in the street, you know, with a needle in their arm. Someone pushing a trolley, and that's, and for me it was like, that's what a drug addict looked like. For me, at that time, I didn't look like that, so I thought I was fine, you know. But yeah, that's sort of the type of mentality that I had in the beginning when I first started using drugs. And I mean, 15 years heroin addiction. Yeah, I mean, I get why. I used to get that a lot as well. People look at me and they can't believe that I was a heroin addict, or that I am a heroin addict, you know. But it was 15 years on and off. Lots of dark years in that time. Lots of bad decisions that I made during that time. Mainly because heroin is one of those drugs that becomes really physical. When you don't have it, you start getting really sick. And when you start getting really sick, you start doing things so that in order for you not to be sick anymore, because you need that fix. So you start doing anything that you can in order to get that drug, and in order to put it inside of your body so that you can feel normal again. And my life was like that for many years. Couldn't get up in the morning because I first needed to use. Couldn't go to work because I first needed to use. If I still had a job, if I decided to go, many times I woke up in the morning and spent the whole day looking for that heroin, looking for that fix, and ending up not going to work at all. Yeah, so really dark times, bad decisions. Heroin addict 15 years.
Remember meeting Emil? If you go back now, he was one of your beneficiaries. You do those interviews as to who attends your program. And seeing him today, how does it make you feel, Greg?
Well, I'm very proud. I remember doing I think it was a video call with him first. And when I look back and what I see today, even the way he carries himself, even the way his behavior has changed, it's inspiring to me, you know, to see families inviting him to weddings, families inviting him to suppers. Before it was they wanted nothing to do with him. You need to fix yourself. Relationships being restored with his partner, being a dad to his kid, which is Zinzi, which is, man, it's really inspiring. Yeah.
You're now a stay-at-home dad, 16-month-old baby.
Yes.
You've got to cook, you've got to clean, you've got responsibility.
Yes, 100%. I think, you know, Freeway, that's one of the things that Freeway has given me, you know, and taught me at the center. You know, for the 15 years of addiction, and I think even before that, I felt really inadequate, just as a human being, you know. And I think that sort of fueled my addiction. You know, lots of self-pity, lots of things that I did made me feel a lot of shame and guilt. So I fed off that, and I really liked feeling those things because it kept me going to what I needed the most, which was my drugs, you know. And you know, the things that I'm doing today is being a dad, being a partner, cooking and cleaning, communicating, really important, you know. Sort of communicating my feelings, also really important. These are things that I never used to do before. These are things I used to run from. I ran from sort of life on life's terms. I couldn't. For me, you know, during active addiction, I used to look at sort of normal people going to work every day, and I couldn't understand. I just couldn't understand why I didn't have that in me, and I quickly realized that I feared I was going to fail. I feared I was going to fail at life. I feared I was going to fail at being a dad. And coming into Freeway, I just so many skills that I've learned there, so much love that I felt there, just made me realize very quickly that I don't have to fear. I don't have to be scared of life. So today, yeah, I know who I am because I didn't know who I was before. So I'm a dad, I'm a partner, I'm everything that I feared.
When you were saying earlier you are proud of Emil, the way he's conducting himself, I'm sitting here in awe and I'm saying, wow, what a well-rounded person right now. So many beneficiaries, as you said, sometimes they relapse, sometimes they don't, and there are success stories.
Definitely, and Emil's one of them. I look at him and I often when I would call him and I ask to share his story, and he's always there to share his story. So a lot of people can relate to where he's been. Some of them can't understand though, because they're looking at him and as if he has arrived. You couldn't have been that heroin addict. You couldn't have been here 6 months ago, and kind of seeing where he is right now. Even when we had the brick making or the block making, he came along and he led by example. That excited me. Seeing how he could inspire the guys, come on, pushing them. Those are the leadership skills that he had picked up in the program. You were speaking about his feelings. In the mornings we do a feeling round, and it's of vital importance of you express what's going on inside, because for addicts that's something we struggle with, and especially with men, we are afraid to become vulnerable. And I've seen people in the group setting become vulnerable, and when they become vulnerable, we see it opens up a door for somebody else to share what's going on inside. So, and whenever we are sharing, I remind them whatever is said here remains here. So the trust is there, So for Emil, definitely, because I've seen the first day him coming in, and today seeing where he is right now and his plans for the future. He's ticking off his goals. Before it was, I just need to stay clean for 1 day, or 30 days, 60 days, and now it's, well, I'm clean now. I'm facilitating at meetings, things like that. I've got the key to the meeting, I'm bringing the coffee, I'm bringing those things inspires me, because you kind of seeing how the responsibility grows now, Next, I'll have the key to my car, I'll have the key to my house, so step by step I see the progress.
Now, Greg Craig is the Executive Director at Freeway Centre. You've been there, you've done it, so you know exactly. People cannot pull wool over your eyes because you were an addict. You know exactly what they're going to go through. Emil, I know when I met you, you said to me, one of the hardest things ever for you while being a heroin addict was when your dad died. You lied to him. You will stay clean. And he's just sitting in his room, turn his dad's picture the other way, and then take a fix.
Yeah. You know what? I remember that day so clearly. I was at work at the time, and I was using. I was using during that time at work. I was obviously I didn't want anyone else to know that I was using.
Do you go to the bathroom?
Yes. You basically use wherever I can use, wherever nobody's around. So I got that call from a family member saying that my dad couldn't breathe, and I quickly rushed through to the house, and my dad he's passed away. He was on the bed. But before that, the night before that, I know my dad was calling for me to come to the house, but I didn't. I decided not to go, and so obviously I missed that last moment with him, and for me it was really sad for me to see him go without having to see me clean, without having him to see me succeed in something, So it's really sad that he's not here right now to be able to see how far I've come with regards to my addiction and recovery, you know, because I know I use that that guilt and that shame to sort of fuel my addiction as well. A lot of the times, you know, I'd use in my room, and I'd feel so guilty that I'd turn his picture around so that he wouldn't see, you know. Yeah, so those are the things that we do, man. When we're in active addiction, you know, we want to keep everything secret. We keep everything inside, and everything just makes us feel everything. I mean, look, I'd use if my father passed away. Yes, that's an excuse to use. I use that as an excuse. If the sun was shining outside, I'd use. If it was raining outside, I'd use. If my cat died, I'd want to use. You know, if it was the neighbor's birthday, I'd want to use to celebrate that. So it was just the insanity from our side that I couldn't actually realize what I was doing. This is what I was losing. I'm losing my dad. I'm losing people in my life. I'm losing family. I need to change. And that realization wasn't there at the time because my mind was just focusing and obsessing on one thing, and that was drugs.
If we could freeze time right now, and I would say to you, Emil, you could speak to your dad right now, what would you say to him?
Wow. I think, you know what? If I could just say this, for such a long time I was extremely ungrateful. I was spoilt. My dad spoiled us, man, and he really looked after us really well. You know, he provided for us, for his family. For someone who went to school without any shoes on, you know, he'd come a long way and sorted us all out with a roof over our heads and food on the table. So I would just let him know that I'm extremely grateful for him. I'm grateful that he was my dad. I appreciate him because I'm sure he thought that I did not. And my behavior obviously showed that at the time, that I did not appreciate him. But I'd like to think deep down, I obviously did appreciate him, you know. My behavior was a bit different, definitely. And today I can say that I do. I appreciate him. And I love him very, very much. And I know he's looking down on me, and I know he's proud. So, yeah.
All right, let's take an ad break. When we do come back, we'll just wrap up our conversation with the man who stole my initials, Greg Craig, and Emil Craig. We'll see you in just a bit.